Hello guys, and today we will speak about Putin's special economic operation that successfully destroys the Russian Federation from inside. According to many rumors, which are most likely the truth, the Russian central bank is preparing to freeze retail deposits of the Russian population. And no, I will not name them citizens because they don't act like citizens. They don't protest when Putin is prepared to get inside of their pockets and take all the money out on the Russian war economy. Of course, Russian money worth nothing, but still, this greatly resembles the situation in 1991, in 1998, when hyperinflation destroyed Russian economy and actually life, well-being and future of the generations of Russians and once Soviet people. I will try to keep this vlog very personal because I clearly remember how much money my grandparents lost when Russian economy, Soviet economy crashed in 1991. So let's discuss what is happening and why it's so likely that the Russian central bank will freeze people's deposits sometime really soon. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia and also protect yourself against the hybrid warfare, subscribe. We discuss all of that on the channel, and here I generously and openly share my Soviet memories. I was really young, small actually, when the Soviet Union collapsed. I went to school when Ukraine was already independent, thank God. But I remember the conversations of my parents and grandparents, and most importantly, they continued for decades. That was one of the very popular talks and questions that my grandparents asked themselves, my parents asked my grandparents, and so on. Why did you keep your money in Soviet banks, in Soviet stocks? Because with the collapse of the Soviet economy, inflation, or should I say hyperinflation, in 1991, they lost all the money they collected during their life. And they worked really hard. And I will not name you the numbers, but I remember them discussing that they had enough money to buy a 4-room apartment, to buy 2 cars to all of their children. And they didn't, because they wanted to secure their pension, but you cannot secure anything if you live under the Kremlin regime. And they lost it all. Most importantly, there were not a lot of options you can spend your money on in the Soviet Union, so they kept them, but then they lost them and they did not get an opportunity to spend this money on anything. I'm actually happy that my grandparents were quite optimistic, did not care much about that, but they lived a very, I may say, poor life, especially in the comparison of the European or American countries, where buying or not buying a piece of like sausage or meat for dinner could be a very serious family decision. And right now, people have butter in plastic boxes in Russia, and they say, like, it's okay. No, it's not okay if there are already Russians ready to steal butter from the supermarkets. But that was with this ruble rate fluctuations, with various sanctions on Gazprom and so on. Right now, we actually reach the peak of that problems with the central bank, and lots of Russian big banks like VTB are preparing to freeze the retail deposits, which literally means touch money of people, not of the state, not redirecting them from one, budget article to another, but literally getting into the pockets of already poor Russians. Subscribe to see it happening, and then the collapse of the Putin's regime, and then we will have a lot of things to discuss in the new world. And share these videos on your social media platforms to keep people informed. Because unfortunately, Russia still invests billions of dollars, not rubles, because rubles are worth nothing, into their propaganda and the creation of distorted understanding of the Russian economy. So during the recent weeks, there are lots of rumors that Russian central bank, VTB, and other big banks are preparing to freeze the retail deposits of Russian citizens. Because war hit Russian economy is in a very desperate situation. Hyperinflation, high key interest rates, sanctions getting worse. And it is not the first time in the history of this Russia or Soviet Union that people lose their life savings. So they actually understand this may happen. As my great parents experienced that, grandparents experienced that. And once again, one more important thing, grandparents of the majority of my classmates. It's not the mistake of my grandparents. It was very widespread. It's super widespread. I'd say there are way more families in Ukraine, in Belarus, in Moldova, of course, in Russia that lost their life savings in 1991 than those who didn't. And then in 1998, it happened separately to Russians. So Nibulina, all people, Russian propaganda, they try to persuade the population this will not happen because they realize people will start taking money out of banks and this will crash the already dying economy, simply speed up the process, and they keep persuading it's not happening. But even the deputies inside the Russian parliament, Duma, the representatives of the New People Party, which pretend to be the opposition to Putin, are shouting, are warning the people they need a new law that will ban one person from making a decision whether to freeze or not freeze the deposits. They even compare it to the nuclear weapons usage decision that there are at least 3 people that must push the button before something happens. And with Russian economy, there is just one person. And no, I don't think it's Nibulina who make these decisions. And thus, all the Russian population, all those millions of people are totally unprotected and can lose and will lose all of their savings, all because they decided they want to destroy my country and my people. That was the worst decision one can make from this moral, spiritual side, but now, finally, from the economic, because that's perhaps the only one they understand. Profit inside Russia is zero, if not negative. Their budget is negative. Their largest Gazprom company is, and I love it, one of our subscribers and friends beautifully said, castrated. You understand, castrated. They did it to Gazprom, the Russian corporation, super rich. We have a video on that. I will link it, watch it. So honestly, all the smart economists, even those who believed in the greatness of Russia, say that the process that has already started is reversible. There is literally nothing they can do. They can simply try to slow it down. But the moment they freeze people's deposits, a total chaos will occur, and it will. And I watched a number of videos who think this will definitely happen this year, somewhere in spring or in summer. And we pray that sanctions remain. I guarantee you that we in Ukraine remain determined and resilient to defeat this evil. Ballistic attack on Kyiv today, 4 people killed. We will not forgive or forget, and we need to secure our future and our safe future, same as safe future of Europe, North America, Africa, Australia, and even the Arctic, is that defeated and demilitarized Russia. And here we have actually an ally, Putin, who is destabilizing and destroying the Russian economy. And we may say that his special economic operation is going according to the plan of Ukraine. Please remember to share these videos to remind others Russia can and will be defeated on military field and in the economy. Join me on X, join me on Blue Sky. Our community is 9,000 and growing. Follow me on Instagram, and we have a good Discord community. Be careful of scammers. I never invite you to chat privately. And of course, I never ask for money, but I do say thank you for the coffees that you buy, for your support, sponsorships, and to all the patrons of the channel. Check our merch shop for lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. But most importantly, thank you for standing with us. Slava Ukraini!